Case in point, there's this little thing called the election coming up later on this year. And of course, by voting, that is something you can control. But this presidential contest between Biden and Trump expected to be close. And depending on how the congressional races pan out, the stage could be set for a flurry of changes that might impact people in or nearing retirement. Nolan, I have to wonder, as a financial advisor, you're bound to hear anxiety from clients. How do you keep them focused logically, not necessarily for what's coming up in November, but for the bigger picture, all the years in retirement?
Well, I'd say in many situations, it's to try to focus again on the long term and not pay attention to the short term worries that you have. On any given day that I get up and I go in and I take a look at the market news that day, there can be an article that talks about how today's going to be the best day ever to be invested, and the markets are going to rally between now and an election time. And I can come back from lunch, and there's another article that talks about how today's the worst day ever, and there's going to be chaos and catastrophes in Wall Street. And so, from an investor, that anxiety really can cause you to make some emotional decisions that can be costly decisions. One of the key things to focus on is to really try to focus on what you can control and avoid those emotional decisions on what you can't control. I had talked about it a little bit in the past, but I had a gentleman that came in from one of our public events that we were doing, one of our workshops. And what he did is about, a year and a half, 2 years ago, had moved all of his money to cash and just said that until this administration's over with, I'm just going to park it in cash and wait till the election's over. Looking back over the last 2 years, that was an emotional decision. That was a painful financial decision because, here we are at the markets at record high. And if we go back to the economic summit that I hosted in February, what I had told people is, historically speaking, an election year is usually a positive year in the markets. And when you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. The current administration who's in, they want to do everything they possibly can to have the economy appear to be in a healthy position so people get them reelected. Then the other party who's running, wants to talk about how they're going to make changes to make America great again, to bring things back. And in many of those situations, it oftentimes why it leads to a market rally. Now, it's early in the year. It's only June 2024. But as of now, what we have is we have the markets at all-time record highs. So what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to too much anxiety about the stock market short term. But going to the philosophy of investing, which is buy low, sell high, regardless of the outcome of the election, what I want you to think about is right now the stock market is at record highs. So what you want to do is you want to put a downside risk management system in place with the markets at record highs. Again, the markets are at record highs. I hope they keep moving higher. The reality is, though, at some point, whether it's the election, a terrorist attack, a war overseas, something unexpected is going to happen that's going to turn the market in the opposite direction. So while things are going good, now's the time that you want to do that. Speaking of graduates and kids finishing up school, when I was back in school, in fact, when we were kind of little, we used to have these, safety drills, whether it was a tornado safety drill or you had mentioned Boy Scouts a little bit. I remember one of the merit badges I did as a Cub Scout, and it was to go home and I had to write out my fire safety drill and my family had to practice it.
Oh, yeah.
I think about that, and if we think about that in context of the stock market, what I want you to do as an investor is I want you to run the fire safety drill. The reason that they had us practice the fire safety drill is we knew what the exit strategy was. We knew what we were going to do, where we were going to meet up. So the goal of that is to help you avoid panicking. And in this case, to help you avoid panicking when the stock market catches on fire. It will catch on fire. It's just a matter of knowing what the exit strategy is. And when we look at the statistics that are out there, with the average investor consistently underperforming, it's oftentimes, in my opinion, because they make those emotional decisions. So by knowing what you own, knowing the level of risk that you're taking, and knowing what your downside risk management system is, that is going to allow you to not make an emotional decision, not, wait until the elections are over or jump out when the market starts to go bad. And these are all things that we include in what is called our retirement team action plan. If you're worried about the elections, if you just have general anxiety about your retirement, The solution is the retirement team action plan that we put together for you. What we can do is we can take all of your data, we can put it into our software, and we can create an independent portfolio analysis for you. Within that independent portfolio analysis, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to show you what your risk level is, not just in terms of conservative, moderate, or aggressive. We'll be able to drill it down and show you within about a 95% probability of success what the range of returns could be in your portfolio between now and the election time. We'll also show you that if the market had another major downturn like it did in 2008, what the maximum drawdown is within your portfolio. And then when you look at those numbers, if those are numbers that give you anxiety or numbers that you don't feel comfortable with, then what we'll do is we'll talk to you about how we can incorporate the downside risk management system that we have. With downside risk management system, we have options and strategies that are available where one, we can take some of the winnings off the table and draw a line in the sand to take a portion of the money and protect it from, market losses altogether. You can do that with things like money market accounts. You could do that things with fixed or indexed annuities. Those type of investments that are non-market risk investments can be a way to kind of protect some of the things that you have. The second thing that we can do is we can talk to you about some of our investment strategies that we have within the market that have what I would refer to as circuit breaker technology. So whether it's iron retirement, which we review on a weekly basis and determine whether we want to lean in or out of the market based upon technical indicators, or things like our Kings or ISER growth portfolio, these are strategies that have clear exit strategies in place. And when you're looking at your investments and you're thinking, I'm not sure what would happen, with my current investment plan if the market got bad, or you're close to or in retirement time, and the dreaded answer that you hear back is, well, don't worry about it because over the long term it'll work out. That strategy may not make sense for those folks that are close to or in retirement time. That's why we want to be talking about incorporating a downside risk management system. Again, let us help you run that fire safety drill. And the way that we can do that is you give our office a call and say, guys, what we want is we want that retirement team action plan. And we'll provide you that written summary of recommendations and show you specific steps on how to help reduce that anxiety, because this is retirement. This is what it's been all about. It's about getting out there and enjoying, again, those campfires, the barbecues, the summer fun. And if the markets are something that's keeping you up at night, I think that's an area that we can absolutely help you with.
Again, hopefully adding a little bit of relief in what could be a stressful time. There's a lot out there, a lot of uncertainty. Being able to control what you can control all starts with getting that retirement team action plan. The phone number to reach out, get started, 419-794-3030. Once again, that's 419-794-3030. Or you can go to the website, and that is arhq.com.